Today. Also joined live by Kiera James' class here at Velma Jackson, and we're recording this for all of our juniors and seniors in Madison County Schools at Madison Central, Ridgeland, Germantown, and also here at Velma Jackson. And we're joined by Brooks Hill from Mississippi State University, home of the 2020 NCAA National Baseball Champions. We won't talk about who won it this past year, but we know the Bulldogs got their first national championship in 2021. So again, thanks for joining us. We're looking forward to hearing all about Mississippi State has to offer to our young people coming out of high school or community college.
Yeah, awesome. Well, like Mr. Greg said, my name is Brooks Hill. I'm y'all's admissions counselor. So whatever school you're at right now, I am your contact. And so I will drop my contact info. Mr. Greg has as well, and he can just give it to you afterward if you have any questions. But, I'm not going to take up too much of your time today because here's the bottom line. My job is not to get you to come to Mississippi State. My job is to get you prepared to go to college. And so I'm going to go through what steps are necessary upcoming to get you prepared to go to college. Now, we're going to go through this little slideshow. It's going to talk a little bit about Mississippi State, but I'm kind of just going to skim through it and hit the highlights because I really want to hit home what is coming up for you as a student getting ready to get to college. So whether that be applying, whether that be scholarships, whether that be financial aid, whether that be the FAFSA, whether that be the ACT, those are the most important things to me. I think in this moment we can figure out a major, we can figure out your interest a little bit later, but let's go and get those steps out of the way to really make those first few steps to get ready to go to college instead of, okay, I want to do engineering or business. That's super awesome, but if we haven't applied and we haven't gotten ready for scholarships and we haven't done some stuff down the road really, then we're kind of still behind the ball there. And I want to make sure we're not behind the ball, that we're really knocking that stuff out in the forefront. So let me go to this presentation here. And actually, let me go back to Zoom. I have to share my screen. Sorry. Okay. Here we go. Getting it rolling. Can y'all see that?
I can. We were in.
Perfect. We're going to go to present. And now is it full screen for y'all?
Yep.
Okay. And I'm not in the corner, am I?
No, I got you.
Okay. Awesome. Well, guys, Mississippi State, obviously. I'm not sure where. Okay, we'll just do it like this because it's just not working this morning. I tried to download the one from this year and it's just not working. Wasn't working yesterday. All the good things. So we're using this one. But a little bit about Mississippi State in general. It's founded as Mississippi A&M. That's agriculture and mechanical. So we are a land grant university. Agriculture and mechanical. You're thinking farming. You are thinking engineering. But that goes into a whole nother realm of a lot of other stuff. So you think of farming, you think of anything that plant and animals has to deal with. So you're thinking of fashion and merchandising. You think of engineering, you think of aerospace, you're thinking about the oil industry, you think about engineering, you're thinking about the computer industry, cybersecurity, computer science, mechanical, civil. You also go into biochemical, biological, chemical engineering. All three of those are ones that get you prepared to go to med school. So it covers a very wide variety of avenues there for you to choose. If you haven't been to campus, I highly recommend you do so. We have about 23,000 students on campus now and about 4,200 acres of campus. And so if you have not been to campus, I'll also drop a link before I leave this meeting to Mr. Greg. And that's just a link where you can click on. It takes about 5 minutes for you to sign up. You choose a day of your whatever day you want to. And you can come up to campus for 100% free. We'll give you a presentation and a tour. We also can set up a meeting with whatever department you are interested in as well.
Those are excused absences at school. So, if you do that on a school day, we would be able to honor that as an excused absence at all the high school.
Yeah, it's an official excuse. So also you get to miss school. That's another big one. So, but that's a little bit about us. There we go. faculty ratio 16-1. So that usually means people go, how big are your classes, right? 16-1 usually means that's not professor to student, that's faculty equals advisors and TAs and GAs, teaching assistants and graduate assistants. It equals everybody kind of involved in the academic process for a student. And so that's not just like professor, versus student numbers there. Professor versus students probably about 33 to 34 is that average class size. Now, when you're a freshman, you're going to take some of those classes like, wherever you end up going. You might end up going to community college or, the school up north or Ole Miss or whatever, or Southern Miss or wherever you end up going. You might take that human A&P or that psychology freshman year, and that class is going to have 100 plus people in it. I guarantee it. But then you might have a more concentrated class in your major. It might have 15 people in it. You never know. And so that's kind of just the average and the dichotomy there. We do about $350 to $375 million of research annually. The state of Mississippi does about $450 of research annually. So we take up about 3/4 of the research that the state of Mississippi does. So if you are interested in research, which research really just, people think I'm like in a lab and I'm doing crazy stuff like trying to figure out the problem to all the world's problems, the solution to all the world's problems and stuff. Not really. It's just digging deeper into stuff. If you have a question and you want it answered, that's what research is. And so, but Mississippi State does 3/4 of that for the state of Mississippi. And then top 20 Best Buy listing by Forbes magazine. What that really means is you're getting your money back. It's a bang for your buck. It's an investment to come to college at Mississippi State University because it shows in studies that our graduates who invest their money to come to Mississippi State to get an education end up making it back, tenfold, 20-fold, getting that job after college. So here's a little bit about our Shackles Honors College. I know some students might be interested in our Shackles Honors College. So if you've applied already or if you have not, that's okay. But if you apply and you have over a 3.75 GPA and a 30 on the ACT, you get automatically invited into the Shackles Honors College. Now, if you have a little bit below that, that's totally okay. We want you to go ahead and apply because a lot of students also do that. But we want you to apply just because of the experience it gives you. You get to live inside the honors college where all of your advisors and your professors in those honors classes that you'll be taking are in there with you. So it really creates a very close-knit community of, hey, I've got a question in this class, I can just walk down the hall, or hey, I have an idea for this, I can just walk down the hall and talk to my dean or my advisor or my professor in this class, whatever it may be. But also it gives you the opportunity to study abroad. And so my favorite catchphrase for it gives Mississippi State students the opportunity to get outside of Mississippi State's walls. And so you're really getting to go. They have the summer study at Oxford across the pond over there. But also they do a multitude of other study abroad programs as well. So that's kind of the purpose the Shackles Honors College serves. And then we're going to get into just a little bit of Mississippi State, specifically our academic colleges. So you're talking about ag and life sciences. Our president was a former ag and life sciences, and he went to go serve on the Secretary of Agriculture in the Bush administration. And then he's going to do like crazy, movements of the world hunger and all kind of crazy stuff. Dr. Keenum, he's a great guy, but also agriculture and life sciences, like I said earlier, doesn't just mean ag and engineering, and it doesn't just mean biology. It doesn't mean just the more normal things that you would think, but it also means like fashion design and merchandising because, what are your clothes made out of? Cotton. How do we get cotton? We have to harvest cotton. It has to process. We have to turn it into a material that we can use for a shirt that eventually somebody wears, right? So it's kind of farm to table going all the way there. That's kind of the basis of ag and life sciences. But also ag and life sciences has all those food science and nutrition. So if you're thinking about maybe something in the dietitian or nutritionist avenue. We've also got landscape architecture. We have a great landscape architecture program. As you know, the land grant university, we have a lot of land to deal with. And so our university does a great job of keeping our campus beautiful, but also letting students learn of how we do that. Poultry science, horticulture, biochemistry, animal and dairy sciences also falls under this college. That's kind of the route to go to vet school if that is of your interest. So major in animal and dairy science, and then go to vet school here at Mississippi State.
Yeah, and also, and not to cut you off, but I do know that agriculture and life science program in all those areas has a 2+2 agreement with both Hines and Holmes community colleges. So they have a great relationship. If somebody wanted to go to community college and then come to Mississippi State in that area, they have a great partnership with both of those community colleges here in the area.
Yes, they do. And a side note off of that, we have agreement with all the community colleges in the state of Mississippi. So more than likely, unless it's just a class that's just way out of the blue that community college has made up or something, we will take all your transfer credits from community college, whether it's a year or whether it's 2 years, however long you go there, and you'll be good to go at Mississippi State to finish your degree. So that's it for ag and life sciences. We'll move on to architecture, art, and design. So with this college, it's really up to you of your avenue of where you're going, because there's multiple different kind of avenues. So you've got the architecture major. It's a 5-year program. You're gonna do 4 in Starkville and 1 in Jackson. A lot of awesome alumni that we have. Janet Marie Smith is one. If you want to look her up, she's one of the architects who designed Fenway Park. She designed Camden Yards. She designed Duty Noble, Dodger Stadium, a lot of MLB ballparks. If you name it, she probably had a hand in it. So you can go art, straight up fine arts undeclared. If you do that, your first year as a freshman will be the same curriculum as every art major. And then it will move on into whatever your specific major wants to be, whether that be graphic design or photography or fine arts or whatever it may be. And then we have a few more interior design is available, and building construction science. So if you're interested in construction, but you're like, I don't want to be just a construction worker or a contractor, I kind of want to go to college and then still be in this field. Building construction science is an awesome major where you start from the ground up of learning the hands-on material stuff of the construction world, by building a tiny house from the foundation all the way through the wiring all the way up so it's functional. And then you learn the housing market and the construction market of selling that tiny house, and then you get to keep the profits for yourself. But that's kind of your curriculum in that building construction science program. So
we have a couple of alumni that are in that program right now, and they're loving it.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a really great program. It's one of my favorite that we offer. And if I went to college now, I'd go back and I'd take that, because that just seems like right up my alley of right after high school. I was very, it would click with me now, as it didn't back then. But that's one of my favorites, and I try to sell it every time. But that's the 3 or the 4 biggest things in our architecture, art, and design school. So moving on to arts and sciences. This is our biggest school, our biggest department. There's 14 academic departments and 24 degree programs inside the College of Arts and Sciences. So you name it, it's probably in here. We got psychology, political science, physics, microbiology, philosophy. The general arts are in this one. Geoscience, foreign language, English, economics, criminology, communication, chemistry. You think if it's a science or an art, it falls under this school. Personally, I'm a communication major, so a little biased, but if you have any questions about this one, this is kind of where we place a lot of students and kind of find their niche, because they're not sure what they want to do, but something that piques their interest might be in the School of Arts and Sciences. This is also where lost my train of thought. Broadcast mediology. This is where this fits into. So communication has broadcast and digital journalism, but we also have broadcast mediology as a program. 1 in 3 meteorologists that you see on your TV probably have a degree from Mississippi State. And so we have bring in a lot of these broadcast meteorologists because they get the best of both worlds of learning the TV world while also learning meteorology, and then moving on into, to secondary school or whatever they want to go do, or work for a TV station. So, alrighty, moving on to business. And so business has a lot of awesome opportunities outside of just the majors you're taking, right? So you can major in business administration or accounting, or management or marketing, and that's super awesome. One thing about the College of Business is it really gives those students who have entrepreneurship characteristics just a chance to really live those out. We have something called the E-Center, um, that is open every day. It gives students a chance to walk in and pitch an idea of whatever that may be for a startup business or a product. And the E-Center gives them money straight up to start that business and that product, to get it off the ground. And so Mississippi State has started multiple business doing that, with a few have reached that 10 million or that 100 million mark already, after just years of starting that. And so have you ever heard of the glow pals, or glow cubes? They're those little ice cubes, that you could stick in a drink, or whatever, and they'd light up, and then they turned them into glow pals. Story goes there was a mom who had an autistic child who wouldn't get in the bathtub. She used the glow cubes in the bath, and the child like started loving the bath time, right? And so then they've gone to a partnership of putting the glow cubes with faces on them, and with all kind of stuff. And then they did a partnership with Sesame Street, and so they're selling Sesame Street names and characters now with the glow pals. And so it's turned into just a giant business now, but they're still located in Starkville. And so that's kind of the main thing I want to hit on with the College of Businesses. If you have that entrepreneurship characteristic, and you know, like, hey, like, I love college and I do want to go get my degree, but man, I have this idea and I just have nowhere to start. The E-Center that is there for you. So, moving on, we're gonna
And
hit
the
on.
also give you will also walk you through getting the intellectual property laws in there as well. That help you with the copyright and trademark, which is so important in that area. And that a lot of people don't know how to do that. And the E-Center does a great job of that.
Yeah, they do. And that's one thing that has hurt them in the past, but that's why they learned how to do it. So, um, moving on, education. It is what it is, pretty much. You got elementary educational psychology, secondary ed. This is also where kinesiology lands, if that's kind of up your alley. Mississippi State kinesiology is our largest major.
Wow.
So we're getting a brand new building coming up in the next few years, just dedicated strictly to kinesiology.
Ooh.
Also, where music education lands, what you see on the slide here is our partnership school. I actually had a chance to go to it this year. I was kind of talking about it and not really knowing what it was. The partnership school, let's be real honest, is bigger than my high school. I went to Germantown. It's bigger than my high school. It's massive, and they have so many opportunities for these students who are just 6th and 7th graders, going through. But it's almost like they're in their college experience already. It's so awesome, and they're on Mississippi State's campus, number one. But they're having students come in. So if you're an education major, you can go into the partnership school and get hands-on experience with these Octavia Hall County School District kids. It's just a random public school, but it's very nice. The opportunities are crazy. They have something for every student who has any interest. They just have the resources to do that. You walk in and it's mind blowing to see the awesome opportunity those students have. So, moving on to one of our big ones, engineering. Like I said earlier, engineering can go a multitude of different ways. If you're interested in med school, we have biological, biomedical, and chemical engineering for you. If you're interested in what you see on the screen, unmanned systems, unmanned aircraft systems, is just a fancy way to say drones. And that's something that we work a lot in our aerospace engineering for. We also have civil engineering, right? Mechanical, industrial, petroleum, software, electrical, which is a big need nowadays. and then computer science, and cybersecurity. If any of that piques your interest, I'd love for you to get my contact information or reach out to me, so then I can get you in contact with our engineering representative, Joy. I don't know if any of y'all have heard about Joy or met Joy, but Joy knows a lot more than me about engineering, number one. But number two, she's very passionate about getting students just in their perfect position to succeed in college. And so I'd love for you to reach out to me so I can get you in contact with her and she can help you on this journey. So next up, we will move to forest resources. This is the major where if you love being outdoors, this one's for you, right? You've got your wildlife fisheries and aquaculture. You've got all your forestry majors, whether that's wildlife management or urban forestry or forest business or environmental conservation. All of those things fall under the College of Forestry. Now trees in the state of Mississippi is a $15 billion business, right? So you can make money. Don't think that, oh, I'm going to be outside, I'm going to be like a country girl or country boy or whatever, I'm not going to make a lot of money. Forestry is where money is made in the state of Mississippi. So and if you love being outside, this might be for you. This is also talked about that sustainable bioproducts. Again, they're using natural materials to make things more sustainable long term, right? And so a lot of testing and a lot of research is done at Mississippi State. Like IKEA reached out to Mississippi State to do research for some of their products as well. So that's the College of Forestry. Now we'll move on to vet med. We have our own veterinary medicine school at Mississippi State. So what that means is, I know a lot of students, granted me as well, I didn't know what vet school was, especially as a junior, sophomore, freshman. Vet school is a secondary school. It's a doctorate school, right? So you can't come to Mississippi State and just go straight to the med school. You're going to have to come and get your 4-year major and then go to secondary school. And I've had that question pop up a few times. As I totally get it, because, in high school, I had no idea what was going on, just like I still don't know what's going on now. So, but vet school, right? You're going to go and you're going to go for 4 years and get your degree. You can go anywhere else to get your degree, but if you come to Mississippi State, you go to vet med. It is a pretty competitive program, just like it is anywhere else in the SEC, at A&M or at Auburn or wherever you may go. But we house our entire vet med school on our campus under one roof. And so that's something we hang our hat on for our veterinary medicine students. It's not a bunch of different buildings spread out across campus. It's in one central location. We also offer that vet med tech degree. So if you ever see the techs at a vet, when you take your dog to the vet, we offer that as a major as well. And then high school seniors can apply to be in our early entry program. As I said, it's very competitive, but that kind of gets your foot in the door if you really are serious about being a vet down the road. So, and then we're going to move on to our student resources. So this is just a way to kind of give you ease and give you comfort. If you think of, hey, I don't think I'm ready for college, or hey, like I'm scared I'm going to get up there and get lost or kind of lose myself at college, or maybe I need to go to community college first for 2 years, even though I really want to go to Mississippi State or a 4-year university. These student resources are here for you. So we have the Career Center, Center for America's Veterans, Student Counseling, the Learning Center, the Student Health Center. All of those things are there for students 24/7. And that just serves their purpose. So, you got the Student Health Center where you're going to be able to go and get seen for free and then get very discounted pharmaceutical products for you. So if you go and you're sick and you need to get whatever medicine it is, you can be paying $4 or $5 for that medicine instead of a regular pharmacy, right? And you're going to get seen for free. Center for America's Veterans, that's anybody who is or is a dependent of a veteran or an active military member. Student Support Services is one of those counseling services, as long as student counseling services. Therefore, you got the libraries that are there for you to print or to read or to study or to nap in or to whatever they are. They're open late until the night, and they have a bunch of resources there for you as well. Career Center is one thing that you're getting later in your college career or during the summer. They give you resources and opportunities to kind of get your name out there and see what kind of jobs are out there for you. So A little bit about the student life at Mississippi State. Whatever you want to be involved in at Mississippi State, you can get involved in. There's a club or an organization there for you that pretty much covers the vast spectrum of interest of our students. But one thing that kind of gets your foot in the door that I highly recommend if you are a senior, if you're applying and you plan to come to Mississippi State University, it's a picture and down in that bottom left corner says "Learn to Lead." That's a picture of our new Maroon camp that we have at Mississippi State. It's grown over the years from a few hundred students to over 1,800 students, but it's a way for students to come on campus a week early. It's led by students, and it's kind of in that fun camp atmosphere of you get to learn the campus, you get to meet new people, and you get to just make connections. And you get to live on campus a week early before everybody else and just kind of get your feet under you. But it's a great way to just meet people and get involved for later down the road, because freshman year, there's a lot coming at you. Number one, college is coming at you. But there's a lot of different ways you can kind of like take your first step in college. Do I want to hang with this crowd, or do I want to do this, or do I want to do this? New Maroon Camp just kind of gives you the avenues to kind of pick and choose, like, hey, like, I really like this organization that these people are involved in. I want to really go check that out. Or, hey, I like this one, whatever it may be. So,
And if there's not one, you can start one.
Or there's not one, you can start one. Always, always. Moving on to the Sanderson Center. I'll give you all a little bit of
Germantown grad right here. I know her. She's a Germantown grad. That's
really?
Yeah.
Also know the girl in the back right there, in the black tank top. So, but that's another thing. Hey, people at Mississippi State University, we're kind of a family around here. So, but hey, the Sanderson Center is our student. It's the gym basically, right? You go for free. It comes out of your tuition as your gym fee. So you're not paying for it or anything. Competition has swimming pools, cross training area, basketball courts, racquetball courts, the aerobic space, the gym itself, right? Long term, we're hoping of adding a new gym somewhere on campus. So maybe the Sanderson will become the big gym, and we'll have maybe a smaller center later. So that's long term plans for right now. But the Sanderson is awesome, and that's where I love to go spend some time. You can go study in there if you really want to. That's also where any of our intramural sports are found as well.
And the thing about Sanderson as well, that's one of the, except for maybe housing, it's the largest employer of students. So people that want to have a job on campus, it'll work around your school schedule and give you some work experience and some money in your pocket as well.
100%, yeah. So you can go be a trainer. You can work in the gym. You can be a lifeguard. You can do the rock wall. You can do all kinds of stuff at the Sanderson. So sweet. A lot of people, this is the slide where I either get booed or I get cheered, right? But when it comes down to it, your parents might be Ole Miss fans or Southern fans, and Mississippi State, you just don't like Maroon and you hate the Cowboys. I totally get it. But it is an atmosphere that I'd love for you to come see. So you can come do a campus visit on a Friday and then maybe come to a football game this year, and just see the atmosphere. I mean, really soak it in, and see how Mississippi State people just treat other Mississippi State people. It really is a family atmosphere. But if this is not your cup of tea, that's totally okay. But if it is, I really highly encourage you to come check us out on a Saturday, or even just come to another game. You can come to one of our women's soccer games or our volleyball games. Both of those programs are on the rise this year. We're about to be ranked in both of them. And I think football is going to be really good this year. Don't hold me to that. But in the spring too, come to a baseball game. That's a great atmosphere. Got a new basketball coach this year. There's a bunch of traditions at Mississippi State that we hold near and dear to our hearts. And so we'd love for you to come experience that.
Yeah. And even if you're not a sports fan, there's all kind of food out there. There's live music. Even if you don't want to stay for the game, it's still a great time to experience a lot of food vendors and all that stuff. So it really is a great atmosphere.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. If sports aren't your thing, that's totally okay. But the social hour, also, it serves a great purpose for that. So a little bit about Starkville. So if you don't know where Starkville is, it kind of shows you on that outline of Mississippi where it is. About 2 hours from the Jackson metro area in Oktibbeha County. We're a small little town. It's got about 20,000 people who live in Starkville, and then about 23,000 students, right? So it's a really even number there. But also, there's no discourse. There's no animosity between the residents of Starkville and the students of Mississippi State. They really come together to create an awesome just college vibe and college town. It kind of is your home away from home, a lot of people say, because you know, in Mississippi, we don't have just giant cities and towns that everybody lives in. And so if you do plan to come to Mississippi State, or even, Oxford, or even Hattiesburg, you're not moving from big town to small town, or small town to big town. It's kind of the same size. So it is that home away from home, where you're not moving, crazy places into the big city, but it still, reminds you of home a little bit. Starkville's always got something to do, especially this year. And our mayor, Lynn Sproul, if you don't follow Lynn Sproul on Twitter, I highly recommend you give her a follow. She is, number one, hilarious, but number two, also very educated in what she's talking about. So we've got festivals, we've got concerts, we've got restaurants opening, I think, every day. Starkville is a growing community, and so you might think, oh, little podunk Starkville up there in Octavia Hall County, but it's really growing. That's because the number of students is growing at Mississippi State, and people just want to come, see what's going on in Starkville because Mississippi State is growing so much. So, alrighty, this gets into the weeds a little bit, so I'm not going to go much into it. But obviously, we have a few cafeterias on campus. We've got Chick-fil-A, Steak and Shake. Starbucks, Nukes is a new one, all the good things. We also got our two cafeterias. That's the Fresh you're seeing in this picture there. We also have the Perry cafeteria as well, that are open. In dining, we can get into, and if you have any question about dining, we can get into that later, into the weeds. But I think I messed it up. Okay, there we go. All right. Well. Okay. Housing residence life. Okay. So our housing application actually opens on October 1st. I'm about to get into the basics of all that really quickly. All this is kind of just skimming over. 17 residence halls plus our College View apartments that we have an agreement with right off campus. You can go traditional or old fashioned. Old fashioned is those communal dorms where you're going to have communal bathrooms and showers, and you're going to have a roommate, or the new construction, which is an apartment style. You're going to have still a roommate, but you have a bathroom in there inside your residence hall. So the way prioritizing works for housing is based on when you originally applied to Mississippi State. So we want you to go ahead, if you have not, apply as soon as possible. If you really want one of those, newer dorms, we have Davenport and Dogwood, our two new ones. Oak, Magnolia, North, Ruby, Griffiths, you name it. We've got them. So here is where I want to get to. Become a Bulldog. If you have any interest in Mississippi State, even 1%, we want you to just go ahead and apply. Because you never know down the road if whatever college you're planning to go into, or Mississippi State pops up and we have the program for you, or whatever it may be. We just don't want you to be behind the ball when that happens. So when that pops up in, November or December or January, we don't want you to be way behind the ball when that happens. And so we want you to go ahead and apply. It takes about 10 minutes. All we need is a $40 application fee, ACT score, and transcript, right? That's all we need. Once you submit all of that, it takes about 2 weeks for your application to get processed, and then you'll get an email saying, congratulations, welcome to the Bulldog family. You've been admitted to Mississippi State. Once you've been admitted to Mississippi State, the next thing on your schedule is our scholarships, and our housing and all that good stuff. So I'm about to get into that. But transfer. Hey, if you already know you're going to community college, awesome. We want you to go. Have a great time. The way to get scholarships as a transfer student is to get involved in Phi Theta Kappa. That is the Community College Honor Society. You probably already have heard about it before, but transfer application. So we don't need your ACT scores for your transfer application. you're at a high school, you're a college student, we don't look at those. So all we need is your $40 application fee, and we need all your higher ed transcripts. So whatever, whatever that may be, that's all we need for that transfer application. So
Yeah, and also for anybody watching now or later, if you may be eligible for the application fee waiver, and those would be available through your counselor. So that could bypass that $40 application fee.
100%. If you have that free reduced lunch as well, you can submit that and get it signed by your counselor, and that will approve as that $40 application fee as well. So,
yep.
But that's all it takes to apply. And if you have any questions about that, please contact me after this. I'll help you. Okay. Tuition and fees. This is last year, so it's changed a little bit, but you see that in-state, don't look at the bottom one, so cut that off. That in-state, you're looking about $9,200-ish for in-state tuition fees, and then room and board. I know that's a scary number and it looks big, but I promise it goes down because scholarships are a thing that are available to you. So scholarships. Here's how scholarships works. So like I said, once you say you apply today on August the 30th to Mississippi State University, submit your application in about 2 weeks on September the 10th or so. You get admitted to Mississippi State. Next up is October the 1st. That's the date that's coming up. And that's when our general scholarship application and financial aid opens for Mississippi State. So we want you to go ahead and apply and get admitted so you'll be ready for that date. The general scholarship application, the way it works, you tell us everything about yourself, everything you've done, accomplishments, awards, you name it. And we'll keep that information, and we call it GSA our one-stop shop. So that means that we take your information and we process it, and then we come back to you and say, here are all the scholarships that apply to you. You don't have to go searching and researching and all that stuff for the scholarships. You just apply one time in our general scholarship application. But also, you get automatic scholarships, right? So based off your GPA and your ACT, we get scholarships. So that's our academic excellence, Culver Future Leader, departmental scholarships. So whatever department you're in, whether that be engineering or education or business. We have private scholarships that businesses can give out that we accept. Phi Theta Kappa, as I mentioned, for community college. Maroon and White Scholarship is a competitive scholarship this year. Veterans Waiver, Eagle Scout Gold Award, Boy State, PTK President, all those good things we award here at Mississippi State. So that priority deadline, though, is December 1st. So down the road, you might wake up on November 25th and say, oh my gosh, I haven't done it. That's totally okay. We just want you to get it done before December 1st because some of our departments do take that deadline pretty seriously. And so we want you to go ahead and knock that scholarship application out before then. This is the questions tab. I forgot, financial aid is also a thing. So the FAFSA, you'll probably learn about the FAFSA. Also Mississippi State aid, not Mississippi State University, but the state of Mississippi aid. That is the MTAG and MESG. Are two grants that the state offers based on your merit, again, ACT and GPA. So questions for anybody? I know there might be a few in the back, but if we're running out of time, that's totally okay. I can drop my contact information real quick. Let me stop sharing my screen here.
Yeah, and I've got the chat box up. But and again, and great information. But what even though most people here are familiar with Mississippi State and they see it on TV and everything, and obviously the sports are a big deal and it's a great time. And we did talk a little bit about there's still ways for them to get involved. What can somebody expect coming to Mississippi State as a freshman or a transfer that's going to make it stand out from other universities?
Yeah. I think one thing about Mississippi State that stands out, again, like I said earlier, is that family atmosphere. We've had a lot of people in the past that have gone to another university and then come to Mississippi State and say, that wasn't the place for me, but I know that Mississippi State has people that will always circle around me no matter what. So whatever avenue I choose, whatever route I take, I'm always going to have that core group around me that really just sticks with me. That's one thing that stuck out to us. And then I think another thing, a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to college in state or, Mississippi State, they don't, they probably don't have what I want. We are bigger than you think. I'm just going to lay that out there. And we can get you to wherever you want to go, no matter what you're interested in, right? We have the resources to do that. And so I don't want you to, have that thought or rule us out immediately just because you might think, oh, they don't have the program for me, or they probably just, they don't have the resources that some other colleges do. We do have the resources, and we do have the stuff to get there. We also have the advisors and the professors to help you to get there. That's their job. So.
Yeah, and just from a personal note, my brother graduated in May in the College of Business, and he had a job the next day after he graduated. So the job placement from these departments is unbelievable because he's working with Continental Tire in Tupelo. He's already a full-time employee, and in a year or two he'll be able to transfer to North Carolina. So that that networking ability that came from Mississippi State was just invaluable for him in starting his career.
Yep, 100%. Like you said, that job placement rate's a big thing too. A lot of our departments are 95 plus. Some of them are 100. Businesses, corporations, they see Mississippi State students and they go, that's a quality education and I want to hire that person.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're thinking engineering, if you're thinking anything agriculture, if you're thinking forestry, they see Mississippi State University and they go there hard. Because they can know they got a good education, they got hands-on experience.
Absolutely. But I do have a few questions from the students.
Okay.
I have all juniors with me right now, but still they need to know the deadlines and need to know their requirements. And they're all taking the ACT October 18th. But this person is Deshauna Woodard, and she asked, what are the ACT requirements for the university scholarships?
So they start at a 3.0 GPA and a 20 on your ACT. That is our baseline for in-state. Obviously, the higher you get, the more you can make. So ACT-wise, we take the super score. So my little trick is, say you're a junior and you're around an 18 or a 19. You're almost there, not quite. You're taking it one more time in October. Awesome. Hey, ACT prep does help. I get it sucks. It just does. And that's just like the fact of life. I had to do it. It's not fun, but it does help. And one thing that we do is we take the super score. So say you're a junior, you're probably going to take the ACT. You can take the ACT up to like 4, 5, 6 more times. I highly encourage you to do that. Number one, I mean, get the highest score you possibly can. But number two, the way you take it can be changed up a little bit if you take it that many times, right? You don't have to take it and try to study for all 4 of those subsets and just incrementally get them higher. You can take the ACT and focus on math one time. Now, don't forget the rest of the test now. Still take it. But focus on math and do as best you can in math, study for math, and really focus on that math part. And then the next time you take it, focus on science. And then the next time you take it, focus on English or reading or whatever, right? So that will get your score, and your score will take higher jumps, your super score will, rather than studying for everything and try to get everything up just 1 point. Your score would only go up 1 point, right? But if your math goes up 5, and then your reading goes up 4, and then your science goes up 5, your score will just dramatically increase like that. So that's kind of the trick to getting your super score up a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's something that needs to be out, is that the super score can apply to those the baseline for the scholarship on ACT. This is Alexander Williams, and he asked, what are some resources that you think freshmen should read before they enter college?
That's a great question. Let's think. I mean, it depends on your major, really. I mean, I personally haven't been in college in 2 years, and then I wanted the freshman. I would just say, I mean, reading necessarily you don't have to do anything, but I'd just say just keep an open mind as you take your first steps on campus, wherever you end up, whether you go to community college, wherever you go to another 4-year university, just have an open mind. I had to learn this, and I think a lot of people have to learn this, especially in today's day and age. But hey, like, people are different than you. They're not going to look the same as you. Like, granted, it's in high school, but I mean, college is just on a bigger scale. People do different things. People are interested in different things, and that's okay. But keep an open mind, because you never know what that avenue can lead you down. You can go get a job with that. You can go make your best friend with that. Whatever it may be. Just I would keep an open mind. Like, don't say no to anything on the first day. Just kind of keep an open mind and just see wherever, whatever avenues take you wherever. And then, later you can be like, nah, it's not for me. That's totally okay. You can move on and, kind of pick your path. But I would just say, don't say no to anything. Keep an open mind and just, get ready.
This is Joe Ari Archie, and he asked, if you had not majored in communications, what would have been your major?
Like I said earlier, that building construction science I think was cool, but
It is pretty
also
cool.
I forget to say we have a new major at Mississippi State called data science. And so that is a major that really dives into not only analytics, but it dives into the analytics of specific areas. So whether that be healthcare or sports or whatever it may be. So if anybody's ever seen the movie Moneyball, that's kind of what it's diving into. It's not statistics straight up of just numbers. It's numbers that mean something in a department or an area.
Yeah, and especially after the pandemic, having those data people is just so invaluable, and they're making a lot of money.
100%. And so when I look back, I say maybe that would have sparked my interest. I mean, I'm not a math guy, but something about data mining and moving data in the correct place where it makes sense clicks in my brain. So maybe that. And then part of me growing up in Mississippi, obviously, like, what I could have been a game warden or something, like going full country mode. I could have done that as well. So
we have a Velma Jackson alumni that did the game warden program there, and he just speaks so highly of it. Said it was unbelievable, and he's doing real well. Yeah.
My dad. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish what you were saying.
I was going to say my dad works for Ducks Unlimited, and he does engineering for them, but that's waterfowl or environmental conservation. So I could have gone that route as well. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's not going anywhere in Mississippi. I just got one more from the students, and this is the Roger Harris, and he's asking about the forestry program, saying, is it a 4 or 5 year program?
Forestry is a 4-year program. Now, granted, any program Mississippi State can turn into a 5-year program, but not in a bad way. I'm saying that as you have the opportunity to do internships or co-ops or study abroad with every single department at Mississippi State. So that being said, if you have the resources to do so, maybe you want to, your junior or your senior year, you want to take a semester or a summer and go get that internship. That might knock you back a semester, but that's totally okay, because you're getting that real world experience. You're probably making money while you're doing that, and then you already made a connection for the future. So
absolutely. Well, Brooks Hill, we thank you so much for joining us from Mississippi State, and for anybody, Germantown, Madison Central, Velma Jackson, Ridgeland, he is the man for us when it comes to Mississippi State University. And I'm sure you'll be on these campuses soon to make sure that you go up and ask him about all the information you can get about Mississippi State.
100%. Well, I appreciate it, Mr. Gray. Y'all have a great one.
All right. I'll talk to you soon, my man.
Yes, sir.
See ya.